Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WRC Saturday's round 1 of season 1. We are here for the teams division. That's what I'm going to call it for now. I don't know if it's got a specific name. My name is Jack. I'm your commentator. A pleasure to be here in what looks like quite a gloomy day here in Spielberg, Austria. And as you can see, they are all custom cars. We have, I believe, 4 different teams. It's quite a different format. We'll do my best to explain it during qualifying. It's definitely not something that I've personally seen before in league racing. So we've got 4 teams with 5 drivers per team. So team 1 is Blake, Sidemen, Nova Piper, Ferrari for Life, and Austin. Team 2 is Meloon, Jenny, MCL, Daryl, and Cole. Then team 3 is Andy, Mikey, Fenrir, Jay, and Sam, with team 4 being Dave, Cause, Lot, AMS Apple, and Kian. Now, you will see all of the different teams have different liveries. So we can see Sam, his team has an orange livery. That is team 3. We've also got Mikey for team 3 running the same livery. We've then got Hoare 2009 who is with Daryl. So that is team 2. Then team 1 we've got Blake with a blue livery. That's also Sidemen. So that is your livery for team 1. And then team 4 is AMS Apple. We've got Lot in that team as well, and they're in a sort of red copper livery. So it's going to be quite confusing, so you will have to stick with me, because even I'm not 110% sure how I'm going to try and commentate this, but we will most certainly do our best. We also have a little power play, almost. So every team gets one driver that will score double points for the weekend. So those drivers, if I quickly get the attendance up on my second monitor, apologies. So team 1, their double points man is Nova Piper. Team 2 is MCL. Team 3 is Sam. And then team 4 is Dave BH. So all of those drivers will score double points. So it's your normal Formula 1 Grand Prix, an 18-minute qualifying, followed by a 50% race. But we've got 4 teams of 5. And it's almost like a team's championship. Obviously, there's a driver's championship involved as well. But the main goal here is winning the team's championship. So we now have explained everything, I do believe. If there's anyone in chat that knows something that I haven't explained, do feel free to correct me. And we now await everyone's lap times. We've got a couple of drivers coming across the line. We've got King Fenrir. Lots just set a time. We've got Fenrir with a 1 minute 4.8. Currently on provisional pole is Sam with a 1 minute 3.9. We've got Prancing Horse on a 1 minute 5.7. We've got F1 Mikey Boy on a lap at the moment. He's just coming round turn 4, I believe that is. Now dipping down into turn 5. Oz just comes across the line and goes P8 with a 1 minute 6.0. We've got Dave BH just coming through the final couple of corners, although it looks like he is coming into the pit lane. And I must say, it looks very gloomy here at Austria. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe have a bit of rain in this qualifying session. Mikey Boy goes second with a 1 minute 4.1. So it is currently a team 3 front row lockout at the minute. We've got Sidemen in P3 with a 1 minute 4.4. Nova Piper in P4 with a 1 minute 4.4 as well. So it is then an all team 1 second row, and then an all team 2 third row. So it's almost a bit like Noah's Ark at the minute. Hopefully a good debut for AMS Apple. Good to have him here with us. AMS Apple, where is he currently? I don't believe his in-game name is AMS Apple, because I cannot see an AMS Apple in here. Maybe I'm just being slow. I do agree, Ollie, these liveries are absolutely brilliant. You can see Mikey Boy's livery, a beautiful orange and black. We've then got the purple and white of, what is that, Team 2. I must say, my favorite livery might actually be the Team 1 livery, to be completely honest. The nice almost sky blue and black. I'm a big fan of that, I must say. The purple livery is quite nice as well. I must say, as we see their cores running very wide through the middle sector. We've got Andy Price just going on a lap now for Team 3. Team 3 currently looking out the front row. Definitely looking like they are taking the early pace advantage. It has to be said. As into turn 3 comes Andy Price. Gets it turned in very well. F1 Mikey Boy is, I believe, on an in lap. We've got Meloon, who's put it P3 for Team 2. Daryl on his latest lap goes P5 for Team 2. We've got Austin for Team 1, who is coming into the pit lane now. We've got Blake out there as well for, I believe, where's Blake? I can't actually see on the attendance where Blake is, but he is in the team with Sidemen, so I believe that's Team 1 as well for Blake. So, your current running order then, we've got Sam on provisional pole with Mikey Boy sorting out a Team 3 front row lockout. We've then got Meloon in P3 with Andy Price in P4. Sidemen is 5th with Daryl in P6. It's then Nova Piper P7 with MCL in 8th. Austin Burr in 9th with Hoare in 10th. King Fenrir is 11th with TTV Kean in P12. Very shaky out of turn 1 for Kean. Lott is just going on to his latest lap. Currently P13 for him. It is then Prancing Horse in 14th with Cause in 15th. Blake is 16th place with Jay in 17th. And Dave BH, having not set a lap yet, neither have Jay or Blake, currently in 18th place. So Blake is the captain of Team 1. Are the captains meant to race? I don't know if I'm getting confused here. I thought the captains weren't racing, to be completely honest. This is, as I say, quite the new format. Definitely not something we're used to seeing in Formula 1 League racing. So it's going to take a bit of time to get used to and adjust to, and, you know, remember what team everyone's in. And as the weeks go on and races go on, I'm sure it will just be natural. Ah, Sam, he's Team 3. Meloon, he's in Team 2, and all this sort of thing. But for the first race, I can imagine this is going to be quite the confusing affair. But Samulto and Mikey, both of them currently on the front row, are now on outlaps. Captains do race, they just draft pick their drivers, choose tracks, and choose who does double points. Brilliant. So, we've got Ollie in the chat providing us basically all the information that I can't figure out for myself, which is absolutely perfect. So thank you very much, Ollie. As Sam begins his second lap of the session, making his way uphill into turn 3, and he's 4 milliseconds up on his first sector. Looked like a little bit of a lock up there into turn 3, as Cause has now rejoined the session, currently in 15th place. Towards turn 4 goes Sam, and it doesn't look like he had the DRS open there down into turn 4. That's definitely the zone where you get DRS. I didn't see the rear wing pop open on the rear end of that Team 3 car. So, although it actually looks like he has aborted that lap, as we can see F1 Mikey Boy now coming through turn 4 on his latest lap. He needs about a 0.2 improvement to try and match his teammate, and then a little bit more just to try and get ahead. As through the middle sector he goes, and he is doing exactly that. Nearly 2.5 tenths up is F1 Mikey Boy through the middle sector then. 2 corners to go, 2 braking zones, 2 turning points. How is it for F1 Mikey Boy? Can he snatch provisional pole position away, riding the outside curb? DRS wide open, and it is provisional pole for F1 Mikey Boy. A 1 minute 3.8, a 1/10.5 clear of his teammate. And Sam now looks to try and jab back. And ultimately, in 7 minutes and 20 seconds time, we will find out who lands the knockout blows. Into the middle sector goes Sam. Nova Piper has gone P3 on his latest lap. Nova Piper driving for Team 1, definitely looking to try and put their team into Team 1 status, as Sam makes his way. 2 corners to go then. He's got one of his teammates ahead of him that's coming into the pit lane. Hopefully won't be held up at all, and Sam is going to come into the pit lane. King Fenrir, also a man from Team 3, currently sat in P8. He's not on a lap at the moment. Prancing Horse is not on a lap at the moment, so I don't believe we've got anyone on a lap, as Blake is taking quite the adventure up towards turn 3. That's definitely not the usual line you would take up to turn 3. Currently on an outlap is Blake, so not gonna harm any sort of lap time, as Dave BH is back in the garage as well. And we have a nice quiet period at the minute on track. Lot has practically the track to himself in terms of actual on a lap times, so we will stick on board then with the man that is from Team 4, who seem to be struggling in this session. You know, you've got Kian for Team 4. He's currently the highest placed Team 4 driver in 13th. We then got Lot in P14, Cause in P15, and Dave in P18, having not set a lap yet. And Dave, obviously one of the men, and the man for Team 4 that is scoring double points. So Dave definitely looking to have a better qualifying than that if he is to try and propel his team forward with that double points power play. As into the final couple of corners comes Lot then. He's currently P14. Is there time gain for him? The DRS opens up and he goes to P12. So improvement from Lot. TTV Kian is not on a lap. Austin is on a lap, currently P10, looking to improve from that P10. He improves lap time by 15 milliseconds, does not improve his position though, and he will stay in P10 for the time being. And Austin is part of Team 1 with Blake Sideman, Nova Piper, Ferrari for Life, who isn't attending today. And I believe we are missing AMS Apple, as well as Hor is on a lap and getting a nice little slipstream from his teammate there. And I guess that is the good thing about this sort of teams format per se, is that normally you've only got one other teammate and you're fighting everyone else. But in this format, you've got 4 other teammates that can try and help you out during the race. And, you know, team play definitely will be a big thing in this not only qualifying session in terms of slipstream, if that even exists on this Formula 1 25 game that we call home, but in the race, you know, big things around strategy and trying to hold people up that can win people races. You know, me myself racing in the original Saturdays tier, I was helped massively by my teammate holding people up, and, you know, we were vocalizing the strategy around certain things. And that was when I had one teammate. So you can imagine these drivers having 4 different teammates. That can be the difference between winning a race and losing a race absolutely massively. Dave BH rounds the final corner. The only man not to have set a lap time thus far goes into P17 with a 1 minute 6.0. Now, is anyone else on a lap? Jay for Team 3, currently sat in P18. Blake into the pits. Prancing Horse, I believe, is the only man on a lap at the minute, so we will stick with him. Prancing Horse, a member of Team 2, along with Meloon, MCL, Daryl, and Cole. I'm going to pronounce that name as. I do apologise if I'm absolutely butchering that. as into the middle sector goes Prancing Horse. Currently in P13, a 1 minute 5.2, needs about a 3/10 improvement. They are to try and jump ahead of Lot. They make their way through the penultimate corner and then a short little sprint to the final corner. Try not to run it too wide. Open up the DRS, and it is a 5/10 gap to his best time. King Fenrir now goes on to a lap for Team 3, who have taken the early dominant status here in Austria. We've got Mikey Boy on provisional pole. We've got Sam in second. It's then Andy Price in 7th, King Fenrir in 8th, and Jay in 18th at the minute. But definitely, if the results were to go like this, it would be Team 3 that would be scoring the lion's share of points. I will just check for Team 3 who is scoring those double points again. It is Sam, who is currently lining up second on the grid and still has an opportunity to try and beat his teammate Mikey Boy to pole position. So I wonder if there might be a little bit of team games. Let's say Mikey leading the race, they're very close, final lap. Do they let Sam through to score those double points to claim even more points? King Fenrir now goes up to P4 for Team 3, and their grip only strengthens in this qualifying session. Nova Piper comes through turn 1 now for Team 1, and he is currently the highest placed man from Team 1. Sidemen right behind him. You've then got Austin in 10th and Blake, I believe, in 14th. There's Nova Piper getting a little bit of a slipstream from the car ahead. That is Sidemen giving him a slipstream. Nova Piper makes his way through turn 4 and now into the middle sector then. Daryl is on a lap as well. Daryl driving for Team 2 and currently the highest placed Team 2 man. The team that is really struggling is Team 4 at the minute. Currently only 4 drivers out on track for them tonight, so already at a numbers disadvantage, and their highest place is P12. Then they're in 15th, 16th and 17th, so definitely not where Team 4 would want to be. Nova Piper rounds the final corner then. Can he improve on his latest lap time? He cannot, but going for another lap now, it would seem, with Sidemen right behind him. Nova Piper has invalidated his lap, but we now look to Mikey and Sam, who are currently on the front row for Team 3. F1 Mikey Boy 56 milliseconds down as he makes his way through the middle sector. Sam about 30 milliseconds down through the first sector. Can either of them try and improve? MCL puts it third for Team 2. Mikey Boy round the final corner then. Is it to be improvement? It's not. He's a 10th down. Sam is beginning to gain though. Through the middle sector, he was up on his previous lap time. As round the final corner now, can Sam snatch pole position away from his teammate? No, he can't. 26 milliseconds away. Daryl isn't going to get a lap either. Qualifying is now over. Sidemen with a collision out of the final corner with Jay, and Sidemen with a 5-place grid penalty. King Fenrir is 5th. We've got Meloon in 6th. Who else is to set a lap? It's Austin. Austin driving for Team 1. Can he try and get ahead of 7th and beat his teammates? No, he can't. He can't improve. So that is your qualifying session over. It's Mikey Boy on pole position. It is a Team 3 front row lockout with Sam in 2nd place. The second row then goes to Team 2 with MCL and Daryl in 3rd and 4th. Team 3 with King Fenrir in 5th, and then back to Team 2 with Meloon in 6th. So definitely looking like a Team 3 versus Team 2 fight here in Austria. We've then got Team 1 with Nova Piper and Sidemen in 7th and 8th, although Sidemen, after that late qualifying collision, will be getting a grid penalty and will be starting way down the ranks, I believe, in about 13th place. Andy Price then in 9th. We've got Austin in 10th with Hoare in 11th. Lot 12th with Prancing Horse in 13th. Blake 14th. Kean 15th. with Cause in 16th, Dave in 17th place, with Jay in 18th. Ollie Southall saying Team 4 missing big hitters in Milk Apple and Zezin. So definitely some big boys missing from round 1. And that's definitely not ideal for Team 4, who look to be really struggling here. Team 12, I say P12, P15, 16 and 17 in qualifying. But it's Team 3 who lock out the front row. It's Team 2 that lock out the second row. Qualifying an absolute masterpiece. And if the race is anything like this, if that was a precursor at all, I can assure you the race is only going to be 10 times better. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The Grand Prix is up next. Formation lap time, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been given a little bit of insider information from WAR pole sitter F1 Mikey Boy. It is a dry race, should I say. Of course it's a drive race, we're in vehicles, but Mikey's saying it's a dry race all throughout, and it's looking like a 1 or 2 stop race, so definitely could be some mixed strategies. There are your possible race strategies. And that's not implying a 1 stop is possible, a medium hard potentially. Most of our drivers on the mediums, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, we've got Prancing Horse, Dave and Jay on the hard compound tyres. Sidemen does drop to P13 with that 5-place grid penalty. And we now just await the drivers round this formation lap. As I say, we've got a Team 3 front row lockout. Then a Team 2 second row lockout. It's then another Team 3 driver in King Fenrir. Then we've got Meloon for Team 2. The highest placed Team 1 driver is Nova Piper in P7. Highest placed Team 4 driver is locked in P11. Remember, your double point scorers for today are Sam, who lines up in P2. We've got MCL, who lines up in P3. We've got Nova Piper, who lines up in 7th, and Dave BH, who lines up in 17th. So definitely watch out for those 4 drivers, as their points are going to crucially matter to these teams scoring tonight. But we do also have a Drivers' World Champion to crown as well. So F1 Mikey Boy if it is close into the final laps, does he let Sam through? He's looking very defensive as he lines up into his grid slot, pointing all the way over to Sam. So no team orders on the first lap, it would appear, as Jay lines up in his grid slot and we await those fabled 5 red lights. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers then. It's a new dawn upon us and it is lights out and away we go. And Sam gets away well from second place. We've already got a driver in the wall there and I believe that might be Meloon is into turn 1. Sam runs a little bit wide there. Daryl in third place. King Fenrir looking to make up positions as MCL is falling. As we make our way up to turn 3 then, commotion everywhere you look as they're down the inside and big contact, and Round are a couple of drivers. We've got Andy Price way at the back, Kian's involved. Prancing Horse was the man going down the inside and causing all of that carnage, but we've got massive contact on turn 3 as Mikey leads. Sam's dropped a position to Daryl, who makes his way up into second place. Sam trying to hold through on the inside, but cannot do so. Nova Piper up into 5th place as King Fenrir is dropping positions as well. Hawes up to 7th with Austin in 8th. Sidemen already up to 9th. Great start from him. Andy Price, though, down to 17th. Prancing Horse currently in 18th. For F1 Mikey Boy, it's the dream start out in front as he leads. Obviously sets the fastest lap. Daryl gains a position on lap 1 and is up to 2nd with Sam in 3rd place. But now with the DRS enabled, is there an opportunity for Sam to try and get that position back again? He is gaining on the back of Daryl. Daryl forced to go defensive down the inside. Goes Sam into turn 3, takes that position back again, but runs very wide in doing so over the sausage curb. A big moment there for Sam, and the man that is scoring double points now down to 10th place. And surely for Mikey Boy, that is a good sign in terms of trying to win this Grand Prix. He's now got about 9 tenths to Daryl as Jay comes into the pits. Meloon's been into the pits as well. But Mikey Boy leads this race by nearly a second, and Daryl giving it everything with the battery to try and gain away. But F1 Mikey Boy has got more, and already Mikey Boy on lap 2 of this Grand Prix breaks DRS. It's Daryl in 2nd place with MCL in 3rd. Nova Piper with a great opening couple of laps runs 4th. King Fenrir is 5th with Hoare in 6th. We'll look quickly at the position change and you can see our big gainers, our sidemen, and Hoare. Core's also up there as well as he picks up a 3-second time penalty as MCL goes through on Daryl up into 2nd place. Our big losers, however, are Meloon and Sam. Sam down 8 places after that moment, was looking down the inside on, I believe it was Daryl, trying to take that position back again, just a little bit too deep, ran over the sausage curb, and unfortunately, round he went. Andy Price makes a move on TTV Kian and up into 13th. Sam manages to get through on Lot and up into 9th, and the comeback drive now begins for Sam. He's now got about 1.3 seconds to try and gain to Austin as Lot picks up a 3-second time penalty. Further back, we've got Prancing Horse chasing down Dave. Austin picks up a 3-second time penalty, and definitely going to be hard for drivers to try and stick within the track limits. Can Daryl try and mount a charge on MCL? Nova Piper right behind him, though, looking very racy at this stage of the race, just conserving his battery for the time being. Knows he doesn't need to make a move early. You can't win a race on lap 4, but you could most certainly lose a race on lap 4. That is for sure, as Nova Piper now draining the battery, looking to try and get past Daryl. Daryl's going to be forced to go defensive, sticks to the racing line though. Nova just not able to brake late enough to try and get down the inside, and Daryl holds that position for the time being as MCL now looking to mount a bit of pressure on F1 Mikey Boy and gain some time, get back into that DRS as Dave and Prancing Horse do battle through the middle sector, and it looks like it's going to be Prancing Horse that wins out that battle for the time being. But then running a little bit wide is Prancing Horse, and through goes Dave up into 15th place. Lovely opportunist move from Dave. He now runs 15th behind his teammate TTV Kian. On to lap 5 of 36 we go then, and it's Mikey Boy that leads as we've got a yellow flag, and that's someone going very wide, and that's Cause that's been spun round. We've got a driver in the pits, and that's Andy Price, who has already pitted once in this race, I believe. Now into the pit lane again for a change of front wing. Absolute carnage in the opening phases of this race, and what a way to start the new division, as we've got Daryl still in third. Nova Piper looking to try and make a move on him, but Daryl slowly gaining up to the back of his teammate MCL. All the while, F1 Mikey Boy out in front, loving life, probably taking in the scenery of the Styrian Mountains here. 1.6 seconds ahead now as Prancing Horse and Dave once again do battle, and this time it's Prancing Horse that wins out. We'll look to try and avoid going wide at this particular corner where he lost the position last lap. He has got a bit of damage, actually, has Prancing Horse, and that would explain why he ran so wide. But the gap now 2 seconds, 30 laps to go of this Austrian Grand Prix, and it's Mikey Boy that leads from MCL in second place. Daryl right behind him and maybe looking to try and make a move, but a big moment there for Daryl. Off the track he goes, and Nova Piper sneaks through. King Fenrir just not close enough to try and take action as Hoare gets through on King Fenrir and up into 5th place. But what I want to see is, can Nova Piper try and go from 4th to 2nd? He's got the DRS, he's just not got as much battery as MCL, and will flick it into none and harvest some battery for the time being. But we are seeing big mistakes here from drivers. We've seen the likes of Sam making little errors and going for moments. We've also just seen Daryl have a moment as well. So this team's format may be confusing a couple of the drivers, forcing people to push when they really don't need to. And ultimately, it's throwing up a brilliant Austrian Grand Prix for us as F1 Mikey Boy, his lead just being cut down a little bit, but saving a lot of battery is F1 Mikey Boy, and getting himself into the zone that he needs to try and gain away through this race. We will quickly go back to our tyre screen. As you can see, I believe that's Andy Price coming out of the pit lane. We've got a yellow flag, and that's Cause, who once again has had a moment. We've seen him in the wars 2 or 3 times now, I believe. He's currently running in 16th as we see King Fenrir once again losing positions here. This time it's to Austin, and there's contact. They wheel lock, and that is going to allow King Fenrir to get back through. Sidemen also on the back of that fight as well, as Austin is just going to have to concede as now Nova Piper and MCL do battle through the middle sector. It's going to be the outside line for Nova, inside line for MCL. Which one's going to pay off better? As still will to will they are. Round the outside shoots Nova Piper. What a move from the Team 1 driver, and he makes his way up into second place. But all that has done has allowed Mikey Boy to gain away even more, as now already MCL into the pit lane. And MCL, most certainly a driver that is renowned for his tyre saving skills. That is a very early pit stop as Andy Price retires in the pit lane, and that is his race over for Team 3. Definitely a big hit there as Daryl to the inside of Nova Piper at turn 3. Uphill we go. We'll have the DRS to now try and gain away. Has got more battery than Nova Piper as well, as still wheel to wheel they go towards turn 4. Daryl takes the position away from Nova Piper. It's up into second for Daryl once more, but the gap out in front, 2.5 seconds. Mikey Boy absolutely loving life out in front. Hoare, I must say, with a great drive at the minute. He currently runs in 4th place. Beautiful job that he is doing. Cause in the chat saying that he's got no grip, and into the pits he comes. So definitely looking like he needed a change of tyres. Samulto is up into 6th place and is looking to try and make a move. His next car is Austin Burr that he needs to try and get through on. Nova Piper now comes into the pit lane. so he will be bolting on, you would assume, a set of the hard compound tyres. Daryl runs in second. He's got a nice gap to Hoare out in third. It's then Austin in fourth place with Sam in fifth. Sidemen picks up a 3-second time penalty as a lot of drivers coming into the pits now. Lot also into the pit lane as Sam locks up into turn 3 and definitely struggling with the grip on that car. It has to be said for Sam, the man that is scoring double points for Team 3 today. Definitely looking to try and gain more positions, that has to be said, as Nova Piper and Dave BH do battle. Nova having pitted, Dave has not, and that will be an easy move for Nova. Same must be said for MCL on TTV Kian, as MCL makes his way through and up into 8th place and is the highest placed man that has come into the pit lane. He's now got about 8 tenths to try and gain to Blake, and then he has got a lot of clean air. Daryl and Hoare come into the pit lane, as does King Fenrir, so definitely looking like the opportune time to pit at the minute. F1 Mikey Boy, Sam and Austin stay out as they're very wide. Goes Blake, MCL trying into the final corner. Definitely not the usual overtaking spot, it has to be said. Now going to look to blast past Blake on the run to turn 1. Blake round the outside though, doing everything to try and hold this. Even off the track he goes and gets the DRS. And MCL now surely going to be under pressure as Daryl loses out to Nova Piper. Nova Piper throwing it down the inside. It's into the rear of Blake. Luckily doesn't get any damage. MCL will now get the opportunity to try and fly through. Nova Piper somewhat being held up by his teammate here, as now Daryl with 3 wide into turn 4. Daryl and Nova Piper on the exit come through battling. Blake has lost out. Now Daryl gets the position from Nova Piper, and that was absolute carnage as we went down into turn 4. Sidemen has managed to get ahead of Blake as well, as Mikey Boy now comes into the pit lane, and Blake was doing absolutely everything he could to try and defend from MCL. Eventually, MCL would get through. Daryl with a very opportunist move on Nova Piper. Sidemen picking his opportunity very nicely as well to try and get through, as F1 Mikey Boy comes out the pits just ahead of MCL. But that gap now that was around 2.5-3 seconds, now only 8 tenths of a second, as Austin and Sam continue on in this race. Hoare manages to get through on TTV Kian. King Fenrir manages to get through on Lot, as we've also got Blake and Prancing Horse into the pit lane. But the battle I must say I'm very interested in is MCL versus Mikey Boy. Does Mikey have the opportunity to try and gain away? He's got much more battery than MCL, but the cold tyres on the lap after coming out the pit lane. It's not sunny conditions here in Austria either. It will take those tyres that little bit longer to warm up, and MCL is very much in the DRS gap. So could we potentially see a move for the net lead of this race? JF1 picks up a 3-second time penalty, as out of the final corner we go then. DRS enabled for MCL. Daryl's involved in that fight. Nova Piper's involved in that fight. Sidemen is involved in that fight as we await Austin and Sam into the pits. F1 Mikey Boy, our net leader, but could be under a little bit of pressure here from the likes of MCL and Daryl, as Daryl to the inside of his teammate into turn 3, takes the position away cleanly, and now it will be his job to try and gain. But Daryl, honestly, that seems like a very good move for the team, because Daryl with much more battery. Sidemen gets through on Nova Piper and up into 6th place. Daryl now looks to try and challenge F1 Mikey Boy, and Daryl near enough matching F1 Mikey Boy on battery, will be in the DRS as well. This is definitely going to be the toughest test that Mikey has had of this Austrian Grand Prix, and it is not going to be easy for him to try and maintain this, using some overtake button to try and gain away and get a bit more of a gap. Daryl now gets the lion's share of battery as we make our way onto lap 13, as Austin manages to get through on Sam and into the lead of this race, and Daryl just looks to be struggling a little bit with the grip on his car, potentially a different setup that he is running. 2F1 Mikey Boy is into turn 3 we go. Braking much later there is Daryl and gaining time in doing so, but doesn't look like he'll be able to go for a move at this stage of the race. MCL already having been dropped by his teammate. The gap just creeping under a second, but Daryl definitely looking like he's got the pace that Team 2 need at this phase of the Grand Prix. It has to be said. Sidemen then about a second behind MCL, with Nova Piper really struggling with some damage, and Hoare right behind him looking to try and take that position away. Team 2, I believe that Hoare is driving for. And Team 2 definitely having a better Grand Prix than Team 3. It has to be said. You've still got Mikey running in third place as Sam picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in second but has not pitted yet, whereas all of the Team 2 drivers have and are running in very good positions, as we see Hoare potentially sizing up a move on Nova Piper here. Nova Piper goes defensive. It's the outside line the Hoare's going to have to try and take. Now looking to hold it around the outside. Much better grip for him, even just with one lap tire delta over Nova Piper, and he makes the move up into 7th place. Lovely move there from Hoare, and he is now about 2.4 seconds off a Sidemen, and will look to try and chase him down. Andy Price saying his internet took a poo. I must say, when I was spectating you, Andy, it did look a little bit choppy, but I didn't know whether that was my end or your end. I must say, as Austin and Sam now come into the pit lane, so Mikey Boy will continue on in the lead of this Grand Prix. It is Daryl who runs in second place. MCL is third with Sidemen in fourth. Hoare runs fifth with Nova Piper in 6th place, as King Fenrir retires in the pit lane. And that is a very interesting choice, because King Fenrir was not doing terribly at all in this Grand Prix. So Team 3 not having the best Grand Prix, it has to be said. Yes, they've got Mikey leading, but they have now had 2 retirements. They're the only 2 retirees of the Grand Prix, those being Andy and King Fenrir. Jay's running in 17th. Sam comes out the pits in 10th. And Team 3, who, it has to be said, look like the team that would be best placed in this Grand Prix. Now, the momentum shifts over to the likes of Team 2 and Team 1. Lap 16 of 36, 20 laps remain of this Austrian Grand Prix, and it's F1 Mikey Boy that leads from Daryl. It is MCL in third place with Sidemen in fourth, as Blake picks up a 3-second time penalty. Daryl continuing the chase on F1 Mikey Boy has got much more battery than Mikey Boy as well, so Daryl just happy to sit in second place for the time being, as Sam manages to, I believe, make a double move there on Meloon and Lot. Sam now 3.4 seconds shy of Austin, who has also been into the pit lane on the same lap as him. Prancing Horse into the pit lane for a front wing change and a fresh set of hard compound tyres. So I wonder what happened to Prancing Horse there. We saw him with damage relatively early on in this race. I wonder if that was the damage he was coming in to pit to change. JF1 has been in the pits and currently runs about 40 seconds behind Prancing Horse. Out in the lead, and we've got F1 Mikey Boy and Daryl still battling away. F1 Mikey Boy near enough breaking the DRS, but Daryl does manage to brake later and get himself back into it. TTV Kian picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Daryl giving it everything now to try and stick with Mikey. Mikey putting the hammer down in this sort of lap and a half, last lap and a half of the Grand Prix, to try and escape the pursuit of Daryl. But Daryl, he's just like a fly that won't leave your Sunday dinner alone. He just keeps flying around, sticking with it just in case there's a chance of some scraps. And Daryl running in second place. Mikey has not been able to try and break that DRS, but in fact he has managed to swing the battery situation in his favor. So maybe that was some good tactics there from F1 Mikey boy, as he now has the lion's share of battery, although using some battery. This is changing all the time. It feels like I'm commentating Formula 1 in 2026, all this talk about battery. As Hoare now looks to try and set up a move on Sidemen. Much more battery than Sidemen. Maybe waiting for the run towards turn 4. Shadows a little move down at the hairpin. Sidemen not phased by that. 2 laps fresher tyres for Hoare as we now make our way towards turn 4. I keep rhyming accidentally here. Defensive goes Sidemen round the outside. Looks Hoare now looking for the old switcheroo. Sidemen moves over. Make sure that that move is not applicable, as we've got a yellow flag, and I wonder if that's cause again, and it is cause again. So really struggling is cause in this Grand Prix. Currently runs in 15th place and is definitely the driver we've seen the most moments out of, it has to be said, as Prancing Horse picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Hoare once again continues his pursuit of Sidemen. JF1 picks up a 3-second time penalty, and now towards the massive run uphill, Sidemen runs a little bit wide, and Hoare surely gonna go through here on Sidemen, and does so up into 4th place. Now begins to save his battery to defend on the run down to turn 4, as Sidemen very deep into the braking zone touches the back of Hoare, but luckily not causing any sort of incident. Meloon comes into the pit lane now, and we've only got, what is that, 4 drivers in this Grand Prix that have not yet picked up a track limits penalty, and how much dividends could that pay when it comes to the end of the Grand Prix? Hoare has managed to escape from Sidemen now, and will look to try and put the power down to break that DRS duct, but it's Hoare up into 4th place, and that is now 3 of the top 5 positions currently occupied by members of Team 2. We've still got 16 laps to go. Plenty that could happen in this race, as we've got Cause running very slowly, as Nova Piper now comes into the pits for a second stop. Cause picks up a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and I wonder if this is potentially an intentional crash waiting to happen here. He brakes normally down into turn 1, but doesn't look like he's taking the usual line at turn 1. It has to be said, Nova Piper looks like he will emerge in 10th place. And Cause definitely not happy. No front wing on the front of that car now. He is currently running for, I believe, Team 4. Is that? Yes, Team 4 for Cause, as we see him run very wide out of turn 4, and you would expect him to be back into the pits at the end of this lap. A 3-second time penalty, and that is Cause once again off the track. Keeps it out of the wall, as Daryl is out. And that's a moment out of turn 1, and that is not normally a place that you see a car have a crash, but a safety car is now deployed. Daryl out of the Grand Prix. I have never been so confused by a crash in my life. Out of turn 1. That's a sizable way out of turn 1 as well. So you'd assume as maybe ran wide out of turn 1 and had a moment into the wall. Daryl saying it was a left rear puncture. Oh my word. A puncture in this Grand Prix. And that has left Daryl, who was in second place, in the wall and out. So you'd assume nearly everyone's going to be into the pits. F1 Mikey Boy pits, MCL's coming into the pits, Hall's making his way into the pit lane, as is Sidemen, as is Austin. Sam also into the pit lane as well. Nova Piper has just come into the pits, unfortunately for him. I cannot believe what we are witnessing. 14 laps that MCL and Sidemen have been on their hard compound tyres. I wonder how close they were to a puncture. Oh my word. So lap 22 of 36 then. It is F1 Mikey Boy that will lead this Grand Prix. MCL going on to medium compound tyres. Daryl saying he got a puncture on 54% tyre. Is that even possible? I'm sure the threshold for punctures was 70%. Unless you've ran over debris or something. So that must be what's caused it. It could be a curb as well, that's true. A curb or running over a bit of front wing or something. And maybe that was caused, if it wasn't a curb, we saw Cause down at turn 1 having a moment. I wonder if there was maybe a bit of front wing that was left on the track from that incident. But that now leaves us with a very interesting grid to the end of this race. We've got Mikey Boy for Team 3 in the lead of the race on hard compound tyres. We've then got MCL in second on medium tyres for Team 2. He is also scoring double points in this race. Poor is in third on hard compound tyres for Team 2 as well. It is then Austin for Team 1, along with Sidemen in 4th and 5th. Austin on the mediums. Sam in 6th for Team 3 on the mediums. And this, between the top two, is surely going to be a massive, well, a massively interesting final third of this race, as MCL on the mediums, Mikey on the hards. Daryl saying, did you see the double overtake after pit stops? I did indeed, my friend. It was absolute carnage down into turn 4, and what a move it was from yourself. I think that was Nova Piper, I believe MCL, potentially Blake involved in that fight as well. Well, this safety car has massively shaken up the pecking order of this race, and Mikey Boy, who has pretty much led from lights out apart from when he came into the pit lane, surely now finds himself under massive pressure from MCL in the Team 2 car on medium compound tyres, neither of them having penalties. The only 4 drivers to not have penalties are Mikey, MCL, Nova and Meloon. We'll look at the penalty situation quickly. So 3 seconds for Hoare and Sam. It's then 6 seconds for Austin, Sidemen, Lot and TTV Kian. 9 seconds for Dave BH and Prancing Horse. It's then 12 seconds for Blake and 15 seconds for JF1. This is absolutely astonishing stuff. This throws everything up into the air, and what a race this has been. What a way to kick off this division. Now, I will remind you, our double point scorers are MCL, Sam, Nova Piper and Dave BH. The safety car is in this lap then. And F1 Mikey Boy with it all to do in the final 12 laps of this race to try and hold on to what has thus far been a dominant weekend for him. F1 Mikey Boy that has found so much performance recently in WRC, has won nearly every race he's competed in. Now has it all to do as he gets the power down, gets the overtake button down. He's caught MCL a little bit napping. We move on to lap 25 of this Austrian Grand Prix, and MCL can set after F1 Mikey Boy, who leads this Grand Prix, who has led this Grand Prix nearly every lap, apart from the laps when he'd been into the pit lane. But when everything shuffled out, when everything has been shuffled out, F1 Mikey Boy has been the man on top, the man to beat, as Sam looks for a move on the outside of Sidemen. Is there an opportunity to try and get through? Yes, there is. And Sam already up into 5th place, putting those medium tyres to good work. His next overtake will be on Austin, also running the medium compound tyres. Definitely not going to be as easy of a move as Blake manages to get through on Dave and up into 10th place. But MCL, this is the battle that we all want to be watching. MCL versus Mikey Boy. Hor is also involved in that fight, but on the hard compound tyres, Austin and Sam also involved as well. But MCL is gaining all the time on F1 Mikey Boy as we enter lap 26 and the DRS is enabled, and MCL will get his first shot at Mikey Boy as we make our way uphill towards turn 3. He just looks a little bit too far back for the time being. Mikey Boy with a great exit out of turn 1, but pulling ever closer with the DRS. So how's your exit now, Mikey? Out of turn 3 and towards turn 4. MCL giving it everything with the battery, looking to try and gain on Mikey towards the outside line. He's forced, just not able to get through. Now looking towards the outside. MCL having to sit behind for the time being. Now maybe looking to the inside of turn 5, but Mikey holds that position with relative ease. But MCL putting Mikey under all sorts of pressure as we make our way now through towards the final sector. 2 corners to go. They're both saving battery. JF1 picks up a 3-second time penalty, and this is crunch time between MCL and between F1 Mikey Boy as down the main straight we go. Hor sets the fastest lap of the race. MCL sets after Mikey. Again, a better exit out of turn 1 for Mikey Boy. MCL chasing him down. He knows his real opportunity is down into turn 4. He is much closer into turn 3 on this occasion. And Mikey running a little bit wide as well as Sideman manages to get through. Sam may have had a moment down at turn 3. MCL growing ever closer towards Mikey, just not able to get close enough to try and make a move. There's Nova Piper gets through on his teammate Sidemen and up into 5th as MCL once again looking for the move into the middle sector, but just not able to push through. Will now look to Sam, who dropped a massive handful of positions down at turn 3. Nova Piper got through on his teammate Sidemen. Austin looking to try and get through on Hor, who's doing a great job of sticking with this MCL and Mikey Boy battle. As to the main straight we go once more. They're both on identical battery, but it's MCL who is going to save some battery down towards turn 1. And Mikey Boy again with a better exit out of turn 1. The exit out of turn 1 is really MCL's nightmare, as the gap now begins to grow a little. Sidemen gets through on Nova Piper once more. Nova Piper back down the inside of his teammate. No team orders. Down at team 1. Sidemen manages to hold that position. Nova Piper giving it everything to try and get through to the inside line. He goes once more. Look who's in the background as well. Meloon looking to make an opportunist move. Down the inside as there's contact between himself and Sidemen. Meloon just loses out. Nova Piper does get through and up into 5th place. But team 1 most certainly not working together as things go. And now Hor looking best placed to try and overtake MCL. MCL struggling at this phase of the race, potentially pushing a little bit too hard on the mediums too early on, but has the battery advantage now as we move on to lap 29. Meloon and Sam doing battle through the final corner. Off the track goes Meloon, through goes Sam into 7th place, but they've not got DRS, so Meloon surely with a great opportunity to try and get this position back once more, as MCL once again gaining on Mikey Boy, has got the battery advantage, will have the tyre advantage, will have the DRS. Surely this is MCL's best opportunity to try and get through. Is there an opportunity? He's just not close enough as we get to turn 4, and F1 Mikey Boy, absolutely brilliant defending from him to keep his car ahead, as Nova Piper and Sidemen once again do battle, and Nova Piper is the man that wins out that fight. Blake down the inside on TTV Kian, and up into 10th place Dave BH, the double point scorer for Team 4, currently runs in 12th. What an exhilarating battle we are witnessing here in WRC tonight. And it's F1 Mikey Boy that leads the way as we move on to lap 30. 6 laps remain of this Austrian Grand Prix, and much closer into turn 1 is MCL. Once again, the exit for Mikey Boy, but it's not as good as it has been in laps previous. MCL finally gaining to the inside on Mikey and takes the position away. Or does he? As round the outside hangs Mikey Boy. Who's going to get the DRS? It's neither of them. So it's a straight power race, battery race down into turn 4. And it's Mikey that comes out with the battery advantage and the lead. Absolutely brilliant racing from these two as we move into the final laps of this Austrian Grand Prix. Astonishing stuff from MCL and from F1 Mikey Boy. In the lead is Mikey on the hard compound tyres, and those medium tyres for MCL might just be starting to go off now as we reach 8 laps on those medium compound tyres. Mikey giving it absolutely everything to try and stay in the lead of this one, using his battery, and has actually just broke it for a second. The DRS duct as Sidemen runs wide and picks up another time penalty. I am honestly lost for words at the racing action in this Grand Prix. Mikey saving his battery, MCL gaining once more down into turn 3, but just doesn't look close enough as Jay picks up a time penalty. Prancing Horse makes his way into the pit lane, and it just looks like the medium compound tyres are starting to die out for MCL as we reach 9 laps on those medium compound tyres. And he gave it absolutely everything to try and get past Mikey, but Mikey, what a defensive performance from our race leader. Sam currently runs 7th. He is the double point scorer for Team 3. The double point scorer for Team 1, Nova Piper, currently runs in P6 as MCL now picks up a 3-second penalty, and that surely seals his fate in 2nd place here tonight. Mikey Boy, all you've got to do, keep it in the track limits, and you will be securing yourself yet another race win here in WRC. Nova Piper will be taking a couple of positions away as well from his teammates, which is ideal for Team 1 realistically, with him being the double point scorer. We've also got MCL as the double point scorer for Team 2. Obviously, he currently runs in 2nd as Nova Piper manages to get through on Sidemen and up into 5th place. And then Dave BH, the double point scorer for Team 4, currently running in 12th. Lap 32 of 36 of this Austrian Grand Prix, and I'm honestly starting to lose my voice. This race, there has been no break whatsoever. It has been straight action all throughout, and what an event it has been as we begin lap 33. 3 laps remain of this Grand Prix, and Mikey Boy leads once again. The form that he has been in as of recent, he started WRC winning races, looking like a title contender. He then had a little bit of a slump, and we all started to wonder, had we maybe seen the best of F1 Mikey Boy, almost like those shades of Lightning McQueen in Cars 3 when Jackson Storm comes through. You know, you look at people like Daryl, who then started winning the races and the championships. You had Ferrari for life as well, winning championships. But F1 Mikey Boy, in the last sort of 2-3 weeks, has really shown that he is not done. He is not here to just race. He is here to take race wins as much as possible and to try and crown himself a Drivers' World Champion. He has won race after race after race in recent weeks. You can look. Friday's race was cancelled. Thursday, Mikey won. He doesn't race on the Wednesdays. You then have the Tuesday's race. Mikey was 4th. The form of his life is the only way to describe the form that Mikey is in right now. The gap, 1.8 seconds and growing. Mikey doing everything he can to try and take yet another race win. Sidemen and Meloon doing battle through turn 3 and now towards turn 4. Both of them with DRS. Who's going to win out this fight? This is team versus team. Meloon down the inside. Sidemen looking for the switchback though. Lovely move this would be if Sidemen can pull it off. And do you know what? As we make our way towards turn 5, he just about can, but the damage on the front wing just forcing a little bit wide. Sidemen gets the position back again, and what a move that was from Sidemen, up into 6th place. As we now move on to the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix, and Mikey sets off into the sunset in Styria. Absolutely dominant performance from Mikey when all odds were against him, when he took the hard tyres instead of the mediums. Even myself, I was thinking there is no way he can hold on to this. But the defense, the attack when he's needed to, Mikey has done absolutely everything he needed to do, and he has done it absolutely perfectly. He has not made a single mistake in these 35 laps, and that is exactly why in a couple of miles time he is going to be crowned the inaugural race winner of the Saturday Teams division. I'm honestly running out of superlatives to describe this man. When he steps into a Formula 1 car, it is just like it is him against the world. There is absolutely nothing that can stop him, and he has got just one more tour of this Austrian Grand Prix circuit before he can claim the race win. Lap 36, ladies and gentlemen. Mikey Boy pushes on. This is the final lap of the Grand Prix, and Mikey sets off to try and take what is going to be a brilliant race victory. He makes his way uphill towards turn 3. We've got another yellow flag. That is for Kian once more. Would it be a stint if Kian wasn't having some sort of moment? No offense to you, Kian. As F1 Mikey Boy then making his way towards the second sector. He has done absolutely everything that he needed to do tonight. It is one of the most dominant drives you will see in WRC. Yes, the gap is only going to be around 4 seconds when he crosses the line, but the whole time it has seemed like nobody has stood a chance. He put it on pole position. He has done everything he needed to do. F1 Mikey Boy, for the first time in the WRC Saturday Teams division, the first race of the season here in Austria, the Styrian Mountains rise to acclaim F1 Mikey Boy, who wins the Austrian Grand Prix. It's MCL that will finish in second place with his double points for Team 2. Hoare finishes in third, with Austin taking fourth on track, but it's Nova Piper scoring double points for Team 1 in fourth place. Meloon finishes fifth, with Austin in sixth place. Sam finishes in seventh with his double points for Team 3. Sidemen takes 8th, with Lot in 9th and Blake in 10th. Dave will finish 11th with his double points for Team 4, sorry. And then Prancing Horse will finish in 12th. JF1 will take 13th after TTV Kian's retirement. We lost Kian, Daryl, Kors, King Fenrir, and Andy Price. But what a Grand Prix that was. F1 Mikey Boy, take a bow, my friend. You are very rarely going to see a weekend as dominant as this man has just produced. There you have it then. Race winner goes to F1 Mikey Boy. Fastest lap for Horde. Driver of the day is Sidemen. Most overtakes is Dave BH. And cleanest driver is F1 Mikey Boy. There is your results. F1 Mikey Boy, with a dominant drive in the Austrian Grand Prix, takes the win. And again, that is going to be one of the most dominant performances you see in WRC. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. My name has been Jack. I've been your commentator. You will catch WRC next live on Tuesday. Once again, thank you for watching. And from me to you,